This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Giff, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
The documentary Snowland tells the powerful story of a former child bride who created an imaginative world to escape trauma and inspire hope. UNN Field Messenger Wayne reports on the film's premiere at the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival.
This is Field Messenger Wayne coming to you today from Missoula, Montana. I'm at the Big Sky Film Festival. It's an independent film festival, and they're featuring the film Snowland, which is a autobiographical film about my mom's life and this magical world that she created to deal with having hardships in life and how you can triumph and to overcome and survive, and wanted to share all that with you guys.
Hi, welcome to the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival. I'm Jill Orschel, the director and producer of the documentary Snowland, and it is about a former child bride and polygamous wife from a religious sect down in southern Utah, where she is able to escape her trauma and hardships through an amazing creation that goes decades of a fairy world and a artistic realm that she calls Snowland. And I'm so proud to have filmed Miss Cora Lee Witt and her daughter Rebecca, and they were he filmed for 3 years and came up with a great film, a 90-minute feature-length film, and we're getting it out to the world, and we have world premiered at the Big Sky Documentary Film Festival.
Hi, I'm Becca, and I am a co-star in the movie Snowland. It's very inspirational. It's very a woman power movie. It's a movie that I hope that inspires anybody who's talented to really go out and live their dreams. It's just a lovely co-creation about a woman that has love for her children and wants to create a world for her children to believe in, and hopes that one day that world that she creates can help her achieve to make a home and have money for her children.
My vision and goals for Snowland are: I would like to publish the Snowland books, sell my Snowland ballet, and ultimately see it turned into a movie. I would use the proceeds to fund a project which has been very close to my heart. Ever since the abuse in my marriage, I've had a dream of creating a healing center. I envision a safe, peaceful place for abused women of all ages, no matter what their station, with nature paths, meditation spots, nutrition and health classes, and a children's center with trained, loving professionals so that the mothers can concentrate on healing. We would have classes to help rebuild self-confidence, learn skills to pursue a professional trade, everything that a woman needs to forge into a secure life. Reach out to me if you would like to learn more or to support my endeavor.
Well, everyone, I sure hope that you have enjoyed our little trip to Missoula, Montana, the Big Sky Film Festival. See you next time.
Having a baby should be an amazing, life-changing experience. But sadly, things don't always go as planned. In the United Kingdom, or UK, repeated scandals in maternity care have highlighted cases of negligence and avoidable tragedies, leaving families heartbroken. This raises important questions about the accountability of healthcare providers, the need to improve care standards, and how to better support families through difficult experiences. So what's really going wrong? Recent investigations paint a troubling picture. Issues like staff shortages, poor communication, and blame culture have led to unnecessary harm for women and their families. A 2025 article in The Lancet showed stillbirth rates haven't improved since 2019. Maternal mortality has increased, and the UK's maternal death rate is double that of countries like Spain. Many maternity units are struggling, with 36% rated as needing improvement or inadequate by the Care Quality Commission, all while the National Health Service is short about 2,500 midwives. Women are also facing a lack of support. Only 64% said they got help during labor in 2024.
Each year, around 30,000 women will suffer a negative experience before, during or after delivery. Despite this, the Birth Trauma Inquiry found that their voices often go unheard. It now hopes its recommendations will help to improve the quality of care. But for this to happen, some say inequalities need to be addressed, with Black and Asian women more likely to experience complications during birth and mental trauma after. Many want to understand why.
As a Black woman, I see myself and other Black women as stats, walking statistics. I see our lives in danger all the time. It's a horrifying situation to be in. And so as a Black woman, I want all of us and all our allies to be able to shout on top of the roof and say, okay, this has to stop.
And then there's the issue of compensation, which seems to add insult to injury. When babies suffer brain damage due to negligence, families can claim payouts to cover care and housing costs. But shockingly, the system favors wealthier families. Compensation for future earnings is based on family income, meaning higher income families get larger payouts, while poorer families, who often need the most help, receive less. Critics have slammed this as unfair and suggest basing payouts on average wages instead. Other countries, like Australia, cap compensation at 2 or 3 times the national average wage, creating a more balanced system. Beyond the financial aspect, the emotional and practical toll of negligence is immense, often leaving mothers to shoulder the bulk of the burden, both physically and mentally.
What if I told you that the NHS has spent £1.1 billion because of failures relating to their antenatal and maternity services? £1.1 billion is a third of the overall budget allocated to antenatal and maternity care, and a lot of that was cash payouts to parents who have been affected by their failures. Let's talk about the Birth Trauma Inquiry. This year, the UK had their first ever birth inquiry report. This report was led by Conservative MP Thea Clarke, who also had a traumatic birth of her own. Evidence was provided by over 1,300 women who had described some of the worst birth experiences I've ever seen. There were reports of women being left in blood-stained sheets, calling for help, no one coming, not being listened to at critical times where harm could have been prevented. The report details a number of failures. It explores the postcode lottery of maternity services across the UK, as well as a lack of compassion and care provided by some midwives. More worryingly, also notes that some hospitals had even made efforts to cover up where things had gone wrong, ultimately breaking the trust between the NHS and mothers-to-be.
Financial struggles are adding to the stress new mothers already experience. Maternity pay in the UK is leaving many families unable to afford basic necessities like food and heating. According to Maternity Action's 2025 Cost of Living Survey, statutory maternity pay and maternity allowance now amount to just 44% of the national living wage. It's even worse for mothers relying on maternity allowance, which is treated as unearned income and deducted from universal credit. Many women report having to skip meals, eat less healthy food, or go without heating just to get by, all while trying to care for their children. This financial strain has serious consequences. Research shows low income during pregnancy is linked to preterm births and underweight babies, which can lead to long-term health problems. On top of that, 59% of mothers say money worries affect their mental and physical health during pregnancy and maternity leave. Here are some tips on financial planning for new mothers to help make things a little easier.
When having a baby, it's important to not only plan for the labour and birth, but to also plan financially for 3 distinct periods: your pregnancy, your maternity leave, and your return to work. Let's look at these 3 in turn. Pregnancy. This is the first period you need to plan for, and to make this easier, you can actually do this before you even get pregnant. No one knows what sort of pregnancy they're going to have. You might not get any morning sickness, or you might have severe sickness and not be able to get out of bed or even function during your pregnancy. So having an emergency cash reserve before you get pregnant is important, as you will have a lot to buy, especially if this is your first child. Expenses such as a cot, pram, car seat, baby monitor, etc. all add up, and quickly too. You can save money on these items by buying them on sale, shopping around online, or buying second-hand. You'll also need new clothes yourself while you're pregnant to accommodate your ever-changing shape, and postpartum too. And you'll need to stock up on clothes for the baby before they arrive. And again, there are some great bargains to be had by buying second-hand. Myself, I've bought and sold many maternity, nursing and baby clothes on Facebook Marketplace with great success. Maternity leave. This is a time when you'll be off work. The first thing to think about here is how long you want to take off work and what your income will be during this period. This will help you work out how much you will need to dip into your savings or what adjustments you need to make to your spending to continue to live within your means.
The system clearly isn't working for many families. Between birth trauma, unfair compensation policies, and inadequate financial support, it's no surprise so many women and their families are struggling. Something needs to change, because bringing a new life into the world should never come with this kind of heartbreak and hardship.
The art exhibit Breaking the Chains of Forgetfulness highlights the injustices faced by enslaved people and indigenous communities, while honoring acts of compassion and resilience. UNN Field Messenger Kathleen takes us on a tour of the exhibit.
Hello, this is Kathleen, Field Messenger reporter for United Network, reporting to you from the President James K. Polk Museum in Columbia, Tennessee. President Polk owned slaves himself, and they were present and working at the site where this exhibit is taking place. It was put together as a result of a lifelong commitment of artist Bernice Davidson to both document the sad way that people were treated, indigenous people and people of color, in this country during the slave days, and also to shine a light on the people who were heroes of their time, who exhibited great compassion for their fellow humans and should be remembered. So she called the show Breaking the Chains of Forgetfulness. We have 5 paintings here by Michael McBride about the life of Elias Polk, who was born into slavery and gifted to James K. Polk and his wife as a wedding gift before James K. Polk became the United States president.
You know, they're just all about things like grandma wanted. She just lived there. Yep. I love Heston. What I hear, I keep symbolizes receptivity to learning and the ability to keep secrets. Enjoying crocodiles, the importance of working together and avoiding tribalism and racism. You know about Sankofa. Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's earlier to be. Let's look to your ancestors. That's where the wisdom lies. Yes. And this is really the story of the kitchen scene. They're all crying because the cook ran away at one point and she got caught and beaten.
I hope you've enjoyed watching this Field Messenger report from Columbia, Tennessee, on how Michael McBride, Gemma Perrin, and Bernice Davidson collaborated as artists to help facilitate social change. Thank you for watching.
Hi everyone, this is Leanne.
And I'm Jerry.
Coming to you from Tamworth, New South Wales.
Hi there, this is Rick from Arizona.
My name is Uchechukwu Obenebam from Igbo tribe, Nigeria.
Hi, this is Scott from Utah.
I'm Annette from Agassiz, British Columbia.
Hi, I'm Marcus Surzit from Manipur State, India.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. That's what United Network News is all about.
Can you clap?
We had a huge flood, which some call the flood of the century.
No fake news here. Our field messengers share personal experiences of what's really happening in their community.
We got some nice fish right here.
At UNN, you are the news.
My family and I had a very good time.
Take the next step. Become a UNN field messenger and share the real news with the world.
In the northwest province of South Africa, I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News, and if it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's going to be, it's up to me. If it is going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to us. Field Messages, United Network News. See you next time.
Step into a world of possibilities with New Earth, a groundbreaking series that shines light on holistic ways to live, work, and thrive. Join us weekly to discover new innovative ideas and explore the world around us as we, together, create our future, our New Earth.
The Hemp and Cannabis Expo in Brisbane, Australia, showcases the incredible versatility of this plant, highlighting its use in sustainable products as well as health and wellness solutions. UNN Field Messengers Renee and Daniela take us on an insightful tour of the expo.
Hello everybody.
Hi everyone.
Field Messenger Renee, Lee and Daniela.
Guthrie from Brisbane, Australia. I'm really happy to be here and show you the Hemp and Cannabis Expo.
Cannabis and hemp offer huge benefits to the restoration of our health and our earth. Here at the Expo, we see a wide range of products on display, especially hemp. From clothing to skincare, supplements for us and our pets, and also for medicine, which is great for reducing pain and inflammation. As oppressive government legislations on growing hemp and cannabis here in Australia finally begin to lift, we see more and more of the industry emerge into the mainstream for the benefit of all. Exciting times.
Absolutely. So we do organic fertiliser. We're an Australian company. We basically try and work with the biology driving the nutrition for the plants. So instead of like your mineral salt fertiliser, we try and get the natural kind of processes happening, try and make more microbes and things that are doing a lot of the work for us. We like working with things like mycorrhizal fungi and things that are already naturally occurring, and promoting more of that to do the heavy lifting of the nutrient mobility, basically. So
that means it's safe on other ecology, like...
Absolutely. So yeah, that's right. You're not like dumping a whole lot of cal nitrate into the river or something like that. Yeah. You know, we're using nice kind of marine calcium, you know, from like oyster shell and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we're trying to do good things.
Field Messenger Renee, Lee and Daniela.
Guthrie.
Field Messengers for United Network News.
Scam factories in Asia have become a growing concern, with stories of massive operations tricking people worldwide. These setups often rely on sophisticated schemes and exploit vulnerable individuals, making them hard to detect. It's a wild, eye-opening underworld that shows us how creative scammers can get in today's digital age. Scam centers in Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar are running illegal schemes that trick people out of their money. The United Nations estimates around 220,000 people have been trafficked to Myanmar and Cambodia and forced to work in these scams. Many of these workers were lured in with fake offers of high-paying jobs, only to end up trapped. They're often made to take on fake identities, like pretending to be professionals on dating apps to gain the trust of their targets. Once trust is built, The scammers hand victims over to others who push them into fake investments, like cryptocurrency scams known as pig butchering. Social media is a common tool for building trust before these scams are pulled off. Some of these sites also run illegal gambling operations and are used for money laundering. Victims of scamming operations face severe abuses like torture, arbitrary detention, sexual violence, and forced labor, often enduring inhumane treatment while being forced to commit crimes. According to the United Nations, these individuals are victims of exploitation and not criminals.
Interpol estimates cybercrime in Southeast Asia generates $3 trillion annually. That's the equivalent to the gross domestic product of France. And with artificial intelligence, it's only going to get worse.
This means the integration of malware into their cyber fraud schemes, the growing integration of things like generative artificial intelligence and deepfake frauds, which really open Pandora's box to...
In the chaos of civil war, military rule is driving Myanmar towards the edge of disaster.
Myanmar, not a failed state now, but if SAC control Myanmar, definitely Myanmar will become the failed state.
The civil war in Myanmar has largely been forgotten by the outside world, but the transnational cybercrime thriving here may be a problem the world can't ignore.
Scam centers along the Thai-Myanmar border gained attention after a Chinese actor was kidnapped and later freed in Thailand. This sparked a joint crackdown by Thailand, China, and Myanmar to shut down these operations. In February, Thailand took action by cutting power, telecommunications, and banking access to the scam compounds under pressure from China and local politicians. According to Reuters, Myanmar has detained more than 3,700 foreigners tied to scam centers since January, with more than 750 sent home. In February, China repatriated 200 citizens from Thailand's Mae Sot near the Myanmar border. Around 7,000 people, mostly Chinese nationals, remain in camps run by local armed groups. The Thai effort has also extended to Cambodia, where more than 215 people were rescued from a scam compound. Organizations like Global Alms in Thailand are helping trafficking victims, many of whom escape the injuries or trauma after paying ransoms or swimming to safety.
More than 250 people of different nationalities ushered across the Moi River by armed fighters from the Democratic Karen Buddhist Army. They're the victims of human traffickers, tricked into traveling to Myanmar, then forced to work in scam centers, luring people into fraudulent online investment schemes, romance scams, and blackmail. And there are still tens of thousands more trapped inside.
There are still a lot of people left in scam centers who have been victims of human trafficking, tormented and electrocuted.
Along the long border with Myanmar, Thai police and military have set up checkpoints, checking IDs. Banners in Thai, Chinese and English warn of the dangers on the other side. But despite these efforts, a steady flow of people still getting across.
It's estimated around 150 people trafficked in every day. So we don't have large numbers like that coming out. So those numbers are definitely increasing within the compounds here.
The issue is the victims come from many countries, and some governments are doing little to help. For example, about 130 of the first 260 workers are from Ethiopia, but there's no Ethiopian embassy in Bangkok to assist them. Some African countries have even said they'll only bring their citizens home if someone else covers the cost. On top of that, many of these workers are left with nothing, not even their passports, since their bosses took them. Thailand, meanwhile, is hesitant to take in thousands of people it might have to support indefinitely. The government wants to figure out who are the genuine trafficking victims and who may have committed crimes, but it just doesn't have the resources to manage a group this large. Job hunting today feels a lot like dating apps. You perfect your profile, your resume, and your cover letter, send it out, and hope for a response. But thanks to technology, the process has become less personal, with algorithms and applicant tracking systems filtering resumes before a human even sees them. More often than not, you're left waiting and ghosted. It wasn't always this way. So how did job searching turn into an endless swipe and wait game? Back in the day, job hunting was personal. You'd walk into a business, drop off a resume, maybe even chat with the manager. If you got an interview, you'd hear back one way or another. Then came online job boards. Applying got easier, but competition skyrocketed. Hiring managers were drowning in resumes, making it harder to stand out. Now AI and applicant tracking systems filter applications before a human even sees them. Up to 75% of resumes are rejected this way, according to topresume.com. If your resume lacks the right keywords, it's game over. And even if you do everything right, ghosting is the norm. No response, no feedback, just radio silence. Not having a job isn't just stressful, it's downright dehumanizing. Work isn't just about a paycheck. It's tied to every part of life. Rent, groceries, healthcare, depending on where you live, social plans. Everything costs money.
I don't think most people realize how dehumanizing it is to be unemployed in the current job market, especially if the reason that you don't have a job is not necessarily your fault. If you've never thought about it before, every single aspect of your life is tied to your job. Your ability to go out with your friends, have dinner, see a movie, tied to your job. Your ability to have healthcare and see your doctor, tied to your job. Your ability to go to therapy, tied to your job. Your ability to do literally anything that costs money, tied to your job. So then when your job is taken away and you no longer have a source of income, it's horrible. You have people out here who just went to college or maybe have been out of college for a year. They thought they did what you're supposed to do. They tell you, oh, if you go to college, you're going to be able to get a career. You're going to find a job super easily. And these people have been out of college for a year and they can't find a job. And then you have people like me who have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree and got their first job back in 2013. And I can't find a job. I don't know what happened and when it switched, but I used to get every single job that I applied for. Okay, I was always the person at my jobs who trained the new employees. And now I can't find a job.
It's not just technology changing the job hunt. Work culture has shifted too. Companies now prioritize efficiency over personal interaction, treating hiring more like data processing than relationship building. Instead of taking time to connect with candidates, many focus on streamlining the process, often at the cost of clear communication. On top of that, remote work has widened the talent pool, meaning you're not just competing with local applicants anymore, but with candidates from all over, making the job market even tougher to navigate. You also may not be hearing back from companies because the job you're applying for isn't real.
What is our world coming to? Bosses are lying to burned out employees by posting fake jobs to give false hope that help is on the way. 40% of companies posted fake jobs within the last year, and 3 in 10 companies still have them up. But 70% of hiring managers believe posting fake jobs is morally acceptable. The reasons why hiring managers do this is plentiful. Some use it to signal to burned out employees that help is on the way, while others do it to test the market, benchmark salaries and benefits among competitors, and make it appear as if they're staying on top of DEI initiatives. But what's most alarming is that some employees use this as a scare tactic to signal current employees that they can be replaced at any time. One part of business practice has always relied on misinformation to attempt to keep employees feeling afraid and insecure. What the? And posting a fake job is never ethical due to the amount of time, effort, and emotion that good candidates invest in job applications. And the sad part is that we can't really do much about this because companies will just say that the job was advertised by mistake or that the company decided to go a different way. Corporate America, we need to do better. If you are someone looking for a job, here's ways that you can spot a fake job posting. If you see the posting on a job board, it's a good idea to verify the posting on the company's official website. If it's not listed there, it could be fake. And vague descriptions, unusually high salaries, and lack of contact information can also be red flag.
Some job postings are required by law, which can sometimes mean applicants don't hear back. For example, under the U.S. Department of Labor's Affirmative Action Program, federal contractors have to publicly advertise job openings, even if the position's already filled or the company is focusing on internal candidates. Similarly, in the UK, the Equality Act 2010 makes sure job ads are non-discriminatory, but that doesn't always mean the job is really up for grabs by outside candidates. It could just be posted to meet legal requirements. The job application process can feel impersonal, and it's easy to feel like you're just another resume in a pile. But here's the thing. When it comes to actually landing the job, recruiters are all about making personal connections. They want to see you're not just qualified, but you'd also be a great fit for the team. So get creative and show them your personality up front. Instead of playing the numbers game, think about what you actually want in a job and the kind of companies you'd love to work for. Reach out directly, send a message or email, introduce yourself, and express your interest. Show them what makes you stand out beyond your resume. Taking that personal approach could make a bigger impact than just sending another generic application into the void.
You've been hustling on the job hunt and you are confident in your skills. You know you have a kick-ass resume and you're not getting the responses back that you're expecting. We have to look at your strategy. I want you to ask yourself, how can I get creative about showing off my skills? And I know that it's a job application and I know that we should not have to put in hours of work just to prove our worth. But the reality is, in a competitive market, people are getting creative, and that is tough love to hear. But if you want to stack up against people that you are probably more qualified than and you have a better skill set, you need to show up and play that game. Instead of a traditional cover letter, you could look at what you would bring to that team if you had the job tomorrow, mock it up quickly on Canva, and film a quick Loom video where you're talking through that plan to the hiring manager. Equally, I want you to think about creating a portfolio. And just because you're not applying perhaps for creative roles does not mean that you can't have a more visual representation of the kind of work that you have done and are super proud of. Hone in on 3 to 4 jobs that you are over the moon excited about and get creative. You don't need to do this for 15,000 applications and burn yourself out. I do really want you to get strategic, go a little bit OTT for the ones that are meaningful for you. And of course, protect your health through this process because we cannot do anything if we're burnt out.
Remember, the job hunt process is not just about throwing out as many applications as possible. It always starts with your intention. What you're seeking in a job and how you approach the process can shape your experience and outcome. If you approach job hunting with a sense of purpose, confidence, and a belief that the right opportunity is out there for you, you're more likely to stay focused and motivated. So take a moment to reflect on what you want, set clear intentions, and trust the process will unfold in a way that brings you closer to your goals.
UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit unitednetwork.earth for more information. Thanks for watching.